Hey everyone, we are here with our final video for the sensory parenting workshop. It's been a blast and we have covered a lot. In the first video, I revealed the forgotten senses that nobody told us about in grade school, namely the vestibular sense, the interoceptive sense, and the proprioceptive sense. I explained the role of sensory processing in the brain-body connection. Then we looked at what it means to be a seeker and an avoider. In the second video, we discussed symptoms. We went through the printable list of sensory behaviors and talked about how everyone has sensory needs, and you can start meeting those sensory needs now. Then I answered the question so many of you have asked me: what sensory needs are so challenging that a child would be diagnosed with sensory processing disorder? And the key word is function. Does the seeking or avoiding affect function? Today in our last lesson, I want to equip you to be the best advocate you can possibly be for your child. Being a mom is hard. Being a mom to a child with special needs is especially hard. You can't follow the crowd, you can't coast. You're constantly having to fight for your child, constantly having to be the squeaky wheel to get your child the support they need. No one loves your child with the same intensity that you do. We are fierce, we've got a big job in front of us. But we can't do this alone, nor should we. You need boldness, you will need courage, and you will need support. This process can take quite a while. You will need to be tenacious. The professionals are swamped. Insurance doesn't care a lick about you, but remember who you're fighting for. It will be worth it. At the bottom of this page, there's a printable observation worksheet. This will be your new best friend as you take the next steps to help your kiddo. I want you to start writing down the behavior you're seeing, describe it in detail. Under situation, talk about what led up to that behavior and what eventually calmed your child down. Keep track of the duration, because when you tell the doctor that your kid threw a fit over broccoli at dinner, they need to know that it lasted 45 minutes. It's tempting to think we'll remember all the incidents accurately, but when you write it down and the facts are all there, you might be shocked and start noticing patterns like, wow, all the meltdowns happened at 11 a.m. I bet hunger is a factor. So start keeping a record and see what you discover, then bring those findings to your doctor. A note on doctors. I don't know how it works everywhere else, but here in the States, most of us will need to go to our child's primary physician to get a referral to an occupational therapist for an evaluation. If your pediatrician is dismissive and tries to downplay the issues you see, respectfully insist that you get a referral. Pediatricians aren't qualified to diagnose sensory issues, hence the need for a referral. The good news is that as you start the process of getting medical professionals involved, you can already start making big strides at home. Even with ongoing occupational therapy, you as the parent need to understand SPD and have a community that supports you in this journey. As you know, the Sensory Parenting University is having its annual mega sale on Monday. It was designed with these two goals in mind: education and support. Why would you need to learn about sensory processing if you've got an OT helping you? 2 reasons. Time. You spend the most time with your kid. There is no way a child can get all the sensory input they need just by attending OT once or twice a week. Sensory input needs to be part of your everyday life, and only you as a parent can pull that off. OTs can't be with you when your child wakes up for the 3rd time in the middle of the night. Your OT can't be with you to point out when your child is about to have that meltdown at a birthday party. But your knowledge and your understanding will be there during those times. You are present with your kids when they are struggling with sensory issues, and that's why you have to be equipped. The other reason you need to learn about sensory processing, even if you have a wonderful occupational therapist: perspective. Sensory issues are complicated. It takes effort and immersion to start seeing the world through a sensory perspective. But as you take what you learn about SPD and put it into practice, it'll start to become second nature. You'll almost instinctively anticipate your child's needs. You'll be able to switch from damage to control and simply reacting to being proactive and preventative. But seeing the world through a sensory lens takes more than a simple blog post. It takes knowledge and practice. It's pretty darn hard to advocate for something that you don't fully understand. It's so important to educate yourself so that you can educate others. The first part of the Sensory Parenting University is the e-course, Sensory Parenting 101. 21 video lessons covering everything you as a sensory parent need to know. The first module lays the foundation of understanding sensory processing. We explain why kids seem to always have changing needs. We go super in-depth into each of the senses because each sense affects so much more than we could ever imagine. Like, did you know that if your child struggles with vestibular input in the inner ear, they may also struggle with reading? Or we'll talk about why the kid that's an auditory avoider is oftentimes the loudest kid in the room. There's an entire unit on transitions, meltdowns, calming strategies, and creating a game plan that works for your family. We're all about applying what you've learned to your real life. Speaking of real life, most OTs don't understand what home life is like for sensory families. It's understandable that they can't work on bedtime or bath time in the office, but these are major challenges we have as parents. The e-course has lessons on each of these hot button topics. We've got bath time, clothing aversions, picky eating, sleeping issues, hair care, and toilet training. The last module of the e-course is all about building your local tribe, getting medical professionals on board, educating teachers and other adults who work with your kids, as well as how to help your spouse and other family members understand sensory needs. While there's a ton of information in Sensory Parenting 101, each video is under 15 minutes and totally doable as a busy parent. There's bunches of printable worksheets and posters so you can take what you're learning and put it into practice. This e-course will equip you with the knowledge you need to understand your child's and their particular sensory needs. Sensory issues are so different for every kid, and if you thoroughly understand sensory processing, you will be able to become a student of your child and their needs. That's the kind of advocate they need. After you've laid the foundation with the Sensory Parenting 101 e-course, the Sensory Parenting membership community has what you need to support you along your journey. The crowning jewel of the community is the Sensory Activities video library. As you go through the e-course, you're going to hear over and over that sensory activities are essential. But if you just search Pinterest for sensory activities, you'll probably just get a bunch of sensory bins, which are great for tactile seekers and avoiders, but the world of sensory activities are so much larger than that. Your child needs vestibular input, proprioceptive input, oral sensory input. There's tons of things out there, and this library is gonna be perfect for that. The library is searchable and it's easy to navigate, just like an online clothing store. You just select the sense that you're interested in and the tools that you have available. So you could select all the vestibular activities that involve a scooter board, or you could find all the calming activities that don't require any equipment. So while there are a lot of activities that do require equipment, there's also a bunch that either need nothing or something common like a chair. My 3 boys are the ones doing the sensory activities while I explain the benefits and tips for assisting your child through the activity. Members have told me how helpful it is to see my sensory kids interacting and overcoming challenges. It's not overly staged or Pinterest perfect, and that's a good thing because neither is your life. It's real kids, real life, and it's real fun. The neat thing about this library is that there are new videos added every single month. And I love getting your input from members about which activities to film next. While the video library is impressive and uber practical, there's still 2 other features in the membership community: monthly trainings and community forums. Every month I record a mini workshop where I answer a frequently asked question like what to do during a meltdown, how to create a sensory-friendly home, and motivating kids to do sensory activities. These trainings are super helpful as a supplement or refresher to the e-course. And lastly, the Sensory Parenting Membership Community Forum. I don't feel like I can take credit for this. Sensory parents are some of the most spectacular people on the planet. You guys are fierce, creative, persistent, caring, encouraging, raw, and dependable. You are selfless and don't just sacrifice for your family, you've got the back of other moms. In these forums, you get to tap into that community, and it is a force to be reckoned with. Guys, the Sensory Parenting University was designed with you in mind. We asked thousands of you about your struggles as a sensory parent. We spent loads of time figuring out how to help folks go from confused, chaotic, and overwhelmed all the way to the point where they're knowledgeable, confident, and empowered. And we want to help you keep that momentum. The Sensory University is not about spewing a bunch of words at you and hoping you can figure out how to apply it. We are not just trying to fill your head with knowledge. We want your life to be changed and your family's life to be changed. The Sensory Parenting University is having its mega annual sale starting Monday. While the program is available year-round, this is the only time you'll ever get it at this low price. The e-course is normally $150 when it's sold by itself, and the membership community is typically $25 a month by itself. But for 4 days only, you can enroll in the Sensory Parenting University and you can get the e-course for a one-time fee of $45, and the membership community is only $10 a month if you bundle the two together. And that's a locked-in rate. Your monthly price will never go up. So as this library grows and we add new members later down the line, they will be paying more every month, but not you if you get in during this sale. The e-course and the membership community were meant to go together, and that's why we call the two together the Sensory Parenting University. But there is the option to get one without the other at a slightly higher price. You could just buy the e-course. This might be a good option if you work with sensory kids and just want to understand their sensory needs better, but you don't actually have a role where you would do sensory activities with them. The other option is to only join the membership community. I suggest that only occupational therapists take this route. If you don't understand the ins and the outs of sensory processing, trying to find the right sensory activity is going to resemble throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping some of it sticks. The biggest trouble parents have with sensory activities is knowing which ones to use and when. And you can only develop that discernment through knowledge like you'd get with the e-course. So like I said, the e-course and the membership community were meant to go hand in hand. Hence why we discounted them when they're bundled together at an even lower price than you'd get them if you got them separately. These prices are only good through Thursday, so don't wait. They'll never be this low again. If you have questions, I am available in the Facebook group or via email. I'm eager to help you sort through whether Sensory Parenting University is a good fit for you and where you're at on your sensory parenting journey. Well, we have covered a ton this week. You gained a better understanding of sensory processing and the body-brain connection. You learned about the forgotten senses and how we respond to certain senses. You learned about the symptoms of sensory issues and how everyone has sensory needs. You heard about how function is the deciding factor when diagnosing SPD. You discovered that proprioceptive sensory activities are a great place to start getting your child the input they need. And today we talked about being the best advocate you can be for your child. Writing down the behavior you're observing, getting medical professionals involved, and how you can continue to learn about sensory processing and get ongoing support. It's been such an honor to serve you guys this week, and I would love to continue doing that. So whether or not you decide to join Sensory Parenting University or not, just know that I am cheering you on.